And finally tonight, can't we all just get along? The Republican presidential candidates have found yet another thing to fight about. This time, there's tension over the recent CNBC debate. Some candidates felt the moderators were biased, rude, took up too much airtime. So the GOP won't be debating on NBC or Telemundo, kind of shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to courting Latino voters. We're talking about this week because we are a year out now from the election. So if you want to look at the election week. Nolan, I'm going to start with you. The GOP, they seem to be turning in on each other a little bit. How would you advise them as a party to kind of get this back on track?
Well, I think they do need to they can't have a repeat of that debate. That was absurd. I mean, I've moderated debates, you've moderated debates. You'd have never interjected yourself in a debate the way those moderators did. It was ridiculous. They lost control. They were interrupting each other. It was
I'd like to interrupt you right now, Nolan, and I'd like to take control of this conversation.
Okay.
Now, go ahead.
So, I mean, you just never see that sort of moderators. You shouldn't see moderators becoming such a big story. There's too many of these debates. I think they should be a little more selective about how many they do. And
yeah, but doesn't that come down to the Republican Party themselves? I mean, shouldn't the RNC, I mean, shouldn't they be saying...
That's what they're doing.
You know, they should crunch it down?
Yeah, one wonders if this is a bit of a pretext for realizing that maybe they've oversaturated the market with Republican debates. I mean,
I think they have.
They definitely have. We had one 2 weeks ago. We're having one
next week.
And you're going to lose your audience eventually.
Yes, you are.
There's a certain sameness to it. But, you know, they do have a good point. You look at that first question from Harwood to Trump, are you a comic book, you know, listing all the flaws in his campaign, are you a comic book? Can you imagine any moderator looking at Hillary Clinton and saying, look, you've changed your story here this many times, you've been caught in these amount of falsehoods, are you a liar?
All right, well, so let me ask this. Should moderators, let me ask this. Republicans say that there should be moderators only if they're going to vote in a Republican primary. Do you believe that that's true?
No, absolutely not.
That's ridiculous.
Okay.
But you can expect a certain level of professionalism and objectivity from your moderators, and you didn't see that in this debate. And you know, I felt like the moderators were intentionally trying to be the story, and that's never a good idea.
Well, but that's also a product of the very, very cluttered debate schedule. Is that I'm sure everyone wants their debate to stand out and be something where something happens that people tweet about.
Well, they're trying to get ratings. Last question. We only have about 40 seconds left, though. Is the GOP, are they shooting themselves in the foot, though, by pulling a debate from NBC and Telemundo, especially coming off the last presidential election? They said we have to court Latino voters, and by pulling away a debate that would cater to those voters. That
doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, I don't know that I would pull either debate, but I do think I would sit down and ask for some sort of commitment that it's going to be not a circus.
Not a circus, Nancy. Is it possible?
To not have a circus?
Right.
Not with the current crop they've got on that stage.
I think they've got to whittle the numbers down, quite honestly. I think
That's
there's too many people.
Too
many people for a debate. All right. As the world turns, that is going to do it for MiWeek. Thanks so much for joining us. Nancy, thanks so much for coming in. It's good to see you.